Well, let's get talking now. The governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration, upon assumption of office almost 4 years ago, initiated the Themes Agenda as part of the plans to change the social economic narratives of Lagos State. With key focus on technology and innovation implemented by a number of initiatives that have contributed to its social economic growth. These plans, which includes the Innovation and Technology Master Plan for the state, sought to increase the investment in the ICT sector with the aim of enabling the state government to automate a number of processes, from its digital registration processes for procurement to its physical planning requests, as well as its process for taking in innovative applications in the state. In the last 4 years, the state has initiated projects such as the Oracle Upgrade Project, a digital cabinet dashboard, and a Lagos Innovates voucher program for young entrepreneurs. Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council platform, well, among others. Well, let's assess the scorecard and let's see what more can be done to look at the scorecard of the state government and achievements in technology and innovation, as well as roll out plans for a more inclusive and digitalized Lagos. I have the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Innovation and Technology, Mr. Olatunbosun Alake. Mr. Alake, thank you so much. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's been a while, and I think it's time for you to bring us up to speed with how well your government is leveraging on technology to build this digital city. What's the update? What's been happening in recent times?
Okay, so between 2019 and 2022, thanks for having me once again. There's been quite a lot of activity in the technology space. Between 2019 and 2022, a number of government processes have been automated. Many more are still in the works. There's quite a bit of work in terms of infrastructure, in terms of connectivity infrastructure. There's quite a bit of work that has gone into funding innovative startups. There's also quite been some work in distributing infrastructure, technology infrastructure for security, for health, and for many other sectors. Activity across these sectors is making Lagos, much better prepared for the future. When we look at government, for instance, right? When we look at all the multiple processes that government needs to work, a lot of these are being taken care of by a major ERP system, the Enterprise Resource Planning System. Now, as you know, Lagos State is an Oracle shop, right? And one of the things we've sought to do is to digitize the processes that enable us to function in Lagos. And so our Oracle Upgrade project, for instance, is at a very advanced stage. One of the major processes that we are digitizing is, the file carrying process, right? Where one file goes from one desk to the other, and things like that. And so electronically monitoring that and, really changing that to a digitized process is one of the things that we are doing. We've done a number of tests to carry that out, and we are getting a lot of good feedback and results. I've mentioned a couple of times on this program our fiber optic implementation project, right? We had started the implementation of the fiber project in 2020, right before the start of the pandemic. But of course, that didn't stop us. We went ahead. And so today we have about 2,900 kilometers of fiber across the entire city in major areas of the city. We've also expanded on our fiber optic duct facility. This enables other telco players to expand their capacity across the city. The thing is that government cannot connect every single point of interest. You need to be able to de-risk the market for other players so that connectivity numbers can increase. And we've recorded some successes in that. We've been able to, while we are distributing the government fiber, we've been able to de-risk that market for the other telco players so that the savings they have on reducing their infrastructure rollout, they pass it on to customers, right? And we're about almost finished with our first phase, the 3,000 kilometers of fiber. The second phase is supposed to start sometime later this year or Q1 2024. We've connected about 100 public schools already. Some of them are about to be launched as well. This would help with, teaching and learning tools for both teachers and students, increase the amount of material that is available for students to be able to ingest in their teaching interventions. And so there's been a lot of infrastructure rollout in terms of technology. Even for security, we've seen about 600 intelligent surveillance cameras across the city. We've implemented the intelligent transport system, and I'm sure Lagosians, some have been experiencing automated enforcement of traffic rules in some areas, whether it's people running red lights, getting tickets, or, driving with expired documents and them getting fined. As you can see, there is a technology paradigm that is beginning to take over swaths of sectors in Lagos. And that is some of the success stories that we've been seeing. Let's even go to tax as well. People are able to do their tax returns online through the Lagos Inland Revenue Service. There's quite a bit of work going on in smart cities, trying to agglomerate all our digitized processes together on one platform so that Lagosians can go on one platform and are able to connect to different services in the city. We are also very advanced on our land administration project, where people can get requests for land at the comfort of their home through an application. We have been mapping the city. We've completed an orthophoto mapping of the city. Currently, right now, we are doing LiDAR mapping, and that's also going on very well. So there's quite a number of projects, number of initiatives that have already started, as you can see. And there's just still so much more to be done.
Indeed. I'm also interested in this digital cabinet dashboard thing. But before we talk around that, when we talk tech, many look at the youths.
Yeah.
They really need to be included in all of your programs. So I'd like to ask, tell us about what you're doing to encourage young technology entrepreneurs. How can they get support from government?
When the governor came in, we came in with the themes agenda. And the themes agenda critically looked at education and technology. And of course, this is a large plan. We cascaded the education and technology sector into the innovation and technology master plan. And there are multiple pillars of execution under that plan. One of the things that we sought to do was to provide infrastructure for young entrepreneurs that are seeking to build their innovative businesses. And one of the major projects, or one of the major initiatives that Lagos State has been implementing is the Lagos Innovates program that gives young entrepreneurs vouchers that they can use and redeem at innovation hubs across the city. Wow. The Lagos Innovates program has about 200 partner innovation hubs across the city that young entrepreneurs can use their resources, whether it's internet, electricity, to continually build their businesses. And so a number of young entrepreneurs have been able to get vouchers from Lagos Innovates. Lagos Innovates is run by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and they've been running that program for the past 4 or 5 years. Another major implementation, and that I must say the governor himself took a personal stake in, was the Lagos State Science Research and Innovation Council. We ignited that council. It's a council made up of private sector and public sector professionals. Is to manage a fund that goes into innovative startups and, more importantly, research and development initiatives. I'm sure you remember in 2019 when the governor ignited the council with about 250 million. So far, we've spent more than $500 million on innovative startups across the city, more than 45 in number. Some of these startups include agri-tech startups that are innovating for agricultural companies. Some of them are fintechs. Some of them are construction tech companies. Some of them are med tech device companies. One of the companies we funded was a company called Shifa Tech. It's a non-electric ventilator. They actually won the UK Royal Academy of Engineering Prize in innovation in 2020. We funded an agri-tech startup, Farms to You. It's led by a woman. She just got accepted into the Catalyst Fund for greater levels of funding for her business because there's quite a tremendous amount of value in it. So there's been direct intervention, funding intervention into startups in Lagos since 2020. These startups have been creating value. They've created a number of jobs among them, and they are solving problems in Lagos. One of the goals was to use local solutions to solve local problems. And we see that a lot through our young, innovative startups. A key component of our implementations has also been research and development. It's not just important to use technology tools or to adopt technology tools to create problems. If you want to create value in an economy, you need to create technology. And that is what R&D really leads up to. And so this government has been aggressive with funding R&D with our universities. We partner with universities on experimentation, on invention initiatives, whether it's in artificial intelligence, trying to genome sequence new classes of viruses so that we are better prepared for the next pandemic, right? We have such initiatives with the University of Lagos, for instance, right? We also have other initiatives in medtech devices, whether it's ventilators. We actually got a patent in 2020 for a medtech device that was done by a multidisciplinary team of engineers and doctors in Unilag. It was a ventilator that is more attuned for the African environment, right? And so we think that creating economic value really is in research and development, experimentation, trying to solve problems with the available tools you have in your environment. And so we've been quite aggressive with that as well. At this point, as I'm speaking, we are funding about 50 R&D initiatives, right, across the 4 major universities, Unilag, LASU, Lagos State Science, University of Science and Technology, and Yaba College of Tech. So quite a bit in terms of funding young people, entrepreneurs, and creating value through research and development and experimentation.
Interesting stuff. Now, but let's talk about FDIs now, because when you talk tech, you see all of the inflows to that space. So what are we able to attract in Lagos at the moment?
So between 2019 and 2022, there's been upwards of $3.2 billion in venture capital investment into Lagos-based startups. As you would know, Lagos is the number 1 startup capital in Africa in terms of sheer number of startups, and of course, even in terms of venture funding interest, right? And so it will represent 2022, I think, 2021, Lagos-based startup raised about $1.7 billion, about 125% increase from 2019, right? And that is growing as well. In 2022, it was about $1.2 billion, depending on the matrices that you use. And so quite increasing level of venture investment into Lagos-based startups. In terms of infrastructure investments, when you look at data centers, for instance, between $1.5 and $1.7 billion of investment has come into Lagos between 2020 and 2022. And then about $300 million in civic infrastructure, so fiber optics, connectivity infrastructure, and things like that. So you're talking in infrastructure terms, in VC terms, you're going above $4 billion between 2019 and 2022 in that space alone. Now, we have not talked about other numbers, but those numbers I can give you with a certain level, or a level of certainty, right?
Interesting stuff. I know we can do better. Well, let's talk about the pockets of criminal activities. I know you mentioned about 600 cameras and all of that. As we move towards the smart city plan and all of that, what more are we doing around innovation, sophistication. What are we doing around that space?
We spoke about the smart city agenda, and multiple projects, multiple initiatives are being implemented. One, like I said, is the intelligent transport system, and one is also the intelligent security system. So we've been implementing and deploying intelligent surveillance cameras at points of interest in the city, right? This is supposed to aid in security implementation, help to make the jobs of first responders and security personnel much easier. All of this infrastructure is connected to a command and control center that consistently monitors these areas on a 24/7 basis, right? And when you look at that, there's been quite a bit of coordination among this infrastructure. So when you look at the fire service, when you look at the police, when you look at neighborhood safety, when you look at the ambulance services, there is now a central coordination point to make sure that security and the safety of lives and citizens is managed more seamlessly. And so the intelligent security system has helped to make the police's job easier. And so when there's an incident in a place, security footage can help the police and neighborhood safety get a real-time assessment of what is on ground so that security implementation is much easier. So these are some of the things that we've been doing from a technology perspective to ease the security burden, on our law enforcement agencies. So with 600 cameras is just the beginning. We are going to about 2,000 in this first phase. And of course, in the next phase, a couple of thousand more will be deployed.
So looking ahead, of course, elections around the corner and all of that, hopefully you would always, your team would definitely want to remain in office. Now, what do you think, or what more can be done? Or what are your projections? What is the outlook for the state government with regards to innovation and technology?
I think we have a very promising base in terms of innovation and technology for the state. There are so many things we are doing now that I think we need to finish, right? When you look at research and development that I spoke about, there needs to be more that needs to go into research and development. And Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has committed to increasing R&D funding in the state and also increasing interventions to young entrepreneurs and startups, whether it's supporting specific industries like AI and blockchain, which hold promise in disrupting many industries, or whether it's really increasing the infrastructure available for young startups. The goal is for Lagos to be a hotbed of technology creation and innovation, right? And so the promise going forward is that the increase in the value chain of technology is much more acute for this government, and it's something that the governor has committed to doing. So there's so much more that we are doing. For instance, the infrastructure that I mentioned, the 3,000 kilometers, we are going to 6,000. So there's a phase two that needs to continue this year. We are going to 2,000 intelligent surveillance cameras. We are increasing the intervention for intelligent transport support, or the intelligent transport system. We need to finish digitizing all of the processes. These are multi-year projects that require focused investment, right? The R&D as well, this needs to be increased so that we get more patents. In fact, we have a goal of doubling the amount of patents year on year that Nigeria produces. And with the increase in patents means that there's increase in value creation for Lagos State and Nigeria at large. We need to create centers of excellence that bring academia close to industry, right? Because you need applied research instances to go into academia. Academia needs to solve the problem of industry. So these are some of the things that already have started but need to be completed. And I think that's why I think the governor has shown his commitment to continue all of these initiatives.
I must thank you so much for your time. Brilliant conversation as usual, and it's great to start the week with you. I've been speaking to Mr. Olatunbosun Alake. He is a special advisor to Lagos State Governor Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu on innovation and technology there, taking us through developments and happenings around that space, at least for like 3.5 years now, being in office. Thank you so much for your time. Sincerely, we do wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right, then.